Hi, my name is Chris Gilmore, and I really appreciate you all being here today to listen to our story, listen to the story of our school, and where we are heading in this new model of education, basically reclaiming education both for the teachers and for the learner so that they could move into the 21st century. You're going to spend a little time with me today, and this is what our agenda is. We're going to talk about who we are, the students we serve, the mission and vision of our school, how we're doing teaming in this next education workforce, how we're doing deeper and personalized learning on our campus, specializations and advanced pathways that we are offering for our educators here at Westwood High School. We're going to look at the day in the life. What does a typical day for a ninth grade student look like on our campus? And where are we headed with this model? Who we are. Again, like I said, I'm in the Mesa Public Schools district at Westwood High School. It's a large, comprehensive urban high school. We serve 9th through 12th graders. We have approximately 3,400 students, and we have every program that you could imagine at our school. We have everything from AVID, AP, IB, CTE programs, ROTC, special education. You name it, we have it here on our campus. But what I'm really proud about is who we are as a district, what our vision and our mission is. Our promise in Mesa Public Schools is that every student in Mesa Public Schools is known by name, strength and need, and graduates ready for college, career, and community. And then we have this doctrine, and I'm going to call it a very revolutionary doctrine that is out there because we are looking at our students in a new way. We're not looking at them as a number. We're looking at them as a person of who they could be when they graduate and be that promise that we say that we're going to be. And that is through the portrait of a Mesa Public Schools graduate. And you could see that there's essential attitudes that we want from our students. They're ethical, they're inclusive, they're resilient, and we want them to have these essential skills: a communicator, collaborator, creative thinker and innovator, critical thinker and problem solver, and a community contributor. At Westwood High School, the vision here is that we are warrior-centered and future-focused. So what does that mean with that vision? Warrior-centered is that if we have a student-centered approach, teacher-centered approach, community-centered approach, and that we are future focused. We're looking at the portrait of a graduate. So the teaming aspect, and I want to talk about how we're doing the teaming on our ninth grade teams. You see in the middle, 150 ninth graders. So we're building about 7 teams at Westwood High School this next school year. We have approximately 1,000 students that are going to be incoming ninth grade students, and we're going to be teaming them with 150 ninth graders in each team. Now, what are these team of educators? We're going to have a math teacher. That's typically Algebra 1 at the ninth grade level. We have an English teacher. We have a Pathways teacher. And our Pathways teacher is an electives teacher. Primarily, it's going to be around career and technical education. And the goal of that Pathways teacher is to help explore the many CTE programs that are on our campus so that students through their 10th through 12th grade year understand the programs that they want to study, because we want our students to graduate not only with a diploma, but diploma plus. I want them to be industry certified. I want them to have dual enrollment classes through Mesa Community College. I want them to take AP classes or IB classes that are on our campus. We also have a science teacher. So all in all, typically, at minimum, we have 4 teachers surrounding those 150 ninth grade students. In addition, we will have special education servicing these teams. We could possibly be having an ELL teacher serving this team. We could have interns from ASU and Mesa Community College coming in and servicing this team. We will have teacher candidates also servicing this team, working alongside our math, English, science, and our Pathways teacher. Because the goal is that we want to produce teacher candidates within Mesa Public Schools that understand how to work together as a team. And you've probably seen this continuum of educator roles. We have community educators, we have professional educators, and we have educational leaders. And so what we are going to talk about our educational leaders. I have a team of about 5 assistant principals. I'm moving 2 of my assistant principals out to the building where all of the ninth grade teams will be housed. Again, in the past, we were siloed by contents. I am now moving our campus where we have the ninth graders, we have the 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders. And this is done primarily by, if a teacher is teaching primarily 10th graders, 11th or 12th graders, they're all in a certain part of campus. But I have all of our ninth graders in one building so that they can work together. And I'm turning off the bells in that area. And I'm going to talk about bells in a little bit later, but my educational leaders are going to be out there. And each of the teams, and I'm going to go back one slide because I think it's important because you see this on this slide here, is that there's a lead teacher on each of these teams. There's a lead teacher for the team, and that we also have lead teachers in the content areas. And so when we look at this continuum, we are developing educational leaders on our campus. One with my assistant principals working over these ninth grade teams, but we have leaders of teams. We also have content leaders that are out there. We also have it with special education, and we have it with our ELL. We also will have some paraprofessionals that will be working in here. And eventually we want to grow those paraprofessionals into teachers on our campus by working on these teams. But we also have the professional educators like I talked about. We have the pre-service, the novice, and experienced and specialist teachers. But I think an important piece also is engaging our community educators. We have many members in our community that have a wealth of talent that would love to come in and teach about science because they might be a veterinarian, they might be an accountant, and they could talk about how this relates in our math class. As a history teacher, I would love to have a lawyer or a police officer come in and talk about the Fifth Amendment to my students and how that related to their profession and what this looked like in their profession. So the students aren't only learning the theory, but they're learning the skills that are out there in the real world. So it's really important to develop on this continuum of educators, the educational leaders, our professional educators, and our community educators that are on this team. You saw that there was 150 students right in the middle. We're breaking down, again, I have 1,000 freshmen that are coming in. Especially with COVID, our freshmen that are coming in, if you think about it, probably haven't been in school since the fourth quarter of their ninth grade year. And now they have to learn algebra from day one, beginning on August 3rd. I need to break this big campus down into smaller learning communities. I need to give flexible time because we might need to give more time to our algebra teacher to cover standards, or English teachers to give more time, or our science teacher or our career explorations teacher that time. And again, I give them 4 hours, straight 4 hours. It might be periods 1 through 4 or periods 4 through 7, where they are in this time, where they are working in this small learning community. It's flexible. Like I said before, I'm putting all these ninth graders in the building of their own. I'm turning off the bells in this area so that you don't have that sprint bell, that tardy bell, that, the end of class. I mean, it seems like bells are going off all the time, and that determines how our learning's going on. We're turning that off so that the teachers own that time and they can decide what the time that they want to do with their students. We all learned from Rick DeFore about professional learning communities. In my experience in the past, professional learning communities was around content and if students understood the content. We are doing a true professional learning community where the students are at the center, and we're going to decide the time that the students need based on how they're doing on assessments through this model. What this gives is common grading practices. We heard from students, from parents, that you have 6 teachers and we have 6 different grading practices. You're going to have a teacher that might be doing a large assignment and they might incorporate the math and the science. They're all going to have a common syllabus that's going to be going through with their small learning community, with their team. And with that, you also have cross-curricular planning. You're going to see inquiry or project problem-based learning. One of the goals of the next education workforce is that deeper and personalized learning. Well, when they see the connections between English and math, or math and science, or English and science, that gets a little bit more deeper. They're going to remember how those connections are made. And like I talked about before, we have teacher candidates and interns that are going to be working on the team, and the community educator. The academy, in essence, is a micro community at the school for you as a teacher, but more importantly for our students, so that they can really get to know each other, take risks, and learn the information that is there. What's really unique about our program is that we give teachers a 2-hour teacher planning period, okay? Let me say that again, 2-hour teacher planning, because we knew that we needed to make this attractive. We needed to draw our teachers to do this type of teaming because it's really comfortable to be a single teacher teaching my own content. I don't have to worry about anything. Typically, a high school teacher teaches 5 classes, but in this model, they're teaching 4 hours, and we give them a 2-hour planning period. And I'll talk about that more, but 1 hour of that planning period is typically co-planning with the rest of your team, and then you have an individual hour to plan for your own subject area. So let me talk a little bit about the deeper and personalized learning. You know, we have that cross-curricular learning. We're seeing the connections to the learning. Special education students can see that connection. You know, we're going to be focusing on a lot of universal design of learning that's in there. And with the team that's there, hopefully our theory is that special education students can see the different connections. We have the special ed teacher teaching the techniques, being the head in the classroom. We have the teachers teaching the content, but the special ed teacher that's going to be in there teaching the techniques to reach them. We have the ELL. We also have a career coach that we're going to be hiring to be part of this team to work on getting those industry professionals into the classroom to make the connections with our career explorations teacher, but also can make the connections in the English, math, and science. And like I said, also the common grading that's going on in there. We're also going to hand over the keys to learning. And what you see here is a model we call the Beagle Inquiry Cycle, based on the Beagle company that we work really close with Turner and Dr. Lindy Elkins-Tanton regarding the Beagle Inquiry Cycle. So what is the Beagle Inquiry Cycle? The diagram in this slide provides a brief overview of what takes place in the classroom. Teachers give the students a concept, a big goal or a question that they're trying to answer by the end of that unit. And you can see that in that upper left-hand diamond that's being shown. They discussed the question as a class and viewed some background information about the overall topic of the question or provocation that they're trying to get the students excited about. Then the students are off. The students need to go out and they need to find the answers to that question. They need to research it. They develop questions of their own and that pointed in a number of different directions and begin researching online. And so what does that do for you as a teacher? The students, you got to teach them how to research, how to look for primary documents, what are secondary documents, what's correct research material that is on the web. Because like I talked to you about, we're in this information age. We need students to find correct information and not bad information. So the structure of the inquiry model starts off strict in the beginning as we model, you know, we tell them what that big goal question is. We give them a provocation. They go out there and research it. They bring that research back, and then they start talking about more questions that they might have in relationship to this topic. So it's very strange to our students because we don't teach students how to write correct questions that get you to answering a big goal statement. Usually we're just telling them the information that they need to know. But this is a inward type of model where the students are looking at the research that they need to know to make them successful or to be better in life. But it, you know, we're seeing it being more student driven. The farther they are moved in these cycles throughout the year, by the end of this series of cycles, the students have developed a variety of authentic assessment projects. So they find that content, they communicate that content, they ask a next natural question or a natural next question. They vote on which is the best question that the classroom developed. And then they go out and find more content. Then they bring that communication back. They communicate that content again to the class and then ask a natural next question again. Slowly, they're starting to set their eyes on that big, bold question that they need to know in that class. And then at the end, you have that distillation. They summarize and they communicate all of their research to everybody in the class, which is a very wonderful moment. So let's talk a little bit about what a typical day in the life looks like for a 9th grade student or for the teacher that's in this teaming model. Here's a typical schedule that we have developed, a schedule at a glance. You have the 5 days. And again, I told you that we are traditionally on a 6-period schedule. You know, typically 55 minutes per period. But I gave that flexibility to the teachers to use that 4 hours that they have based on the students' needs. Lunch You have that typical lunchtime. And what's really special is that organically, the students would stay in during lunch. They would have spent time getting more extra help from their teachers, and the teachers would allow it. We do that 30 minutes of protected time that we tell our teachers, but if they want to work with kids during lunchtime and have lunch with them, that's fine. What you start to see again is that small learning community develop, and everybody's having lunch together. They're really getting to know each other during this time. And then typically your students have 2 electives during their 9th grade time. They might have their world languages or their PE or their performing arts during their 9th grade time. And so what does it look like for the teachers during this time? Well, one of those periods is that co-planning time, and it is their individual time. What I've also seen organically is that the teachers, it's become a 2-hour planning time. But we also see teachers that use some of that time. They see that their students aren't doing very well in world language, or they're not doing well in their performing arts. And they're going and seeing their students in those classes, talking to the teacher, because those teachers know their students really well and can talk about what strengths those students have so that it can help that teacher meet the learning needs of those students in that class. We also see time where those teachers are going and counseling with students during their co-planning time. They're going out on campus and ensuring that our students' needs are being met. But again, that's up to the teachers during that time. They might be spending a week towards the end of a semester, because we know that's when students really kick it into high gear and are ensuring that things are being done. Or it might be a time where they just need that co-planning time with their team. Also, I just want to emphasize is calling families during that co-planning time. How impactful it is for a team of educators, your biology teacher, algebra teacher, English teacher, career exploration teacher, calling a family and having 4 teachers saying, hey, this is what we need from this student, or this is what we've noticed and wondered, and what can we do to help little Johnny out in our class. So where are we headed at Westwood High School? We're moving away from the traditional teacher. And this is coming straight from the mouth of one of my English teachers that worked in both models. Her first year was as a traditional teacher, and this is what she said: lack of support. I was by myself. I didn't know what to do. Once school starts, things go really crazy and go really fast, and I didn't have that network of support. I was teaching 5 out of 6 classes. I had that one individual prep. I was overwhelmed as a new teacher. I have that lack of time for larger products, because all I'm doing is looking at my scope and sequence, and I'm just trying to make sure that I meet all the standards in that 9 weeks or in those 18 weeks for that semester. So those large projects that we really wanted to go into because I wanted to be a teacher, I didn't have that time. PLC was all around content. There just really wasn't a clear path of where I was doing. So with this model, I've been telling teachers, let's reclaim the profession. Let's have this renaissance. It's time to get into the 21st century. Let's become that academy teacher, like I talked about in the Portrait of a Graduate. The students, we want them to follow that Portrait of a Graduate model, but we also want our teachers. We want to have that team support. When we're having that bad day and we just don't know where to go, we have others to lean on and to counsel and to work through. We have that flexible schedule. Our day is not dictated by a bell. We have that 4 hours with our student. We could do inquiry, we could do problem and project-based learning. If you look back at the traditional teacher, that lack of time for larger projects, well, we got that time now that we could do with our students, that we could cover the standards. It's student-centered. And so through this student-centered approach, we want our 9th graders to see our wonderful CTE programs. And so what I see in the future at Westwood High School is that 10th through 12th graders are going to be on teams around career interest. They might be on a STEM team. They might be on a medical professions team. They might be on an IB team. They might be on an ROTC team. And so you have that career, or you have that elective being the center, because we know that's why students come to school, is for those electives. But how could English play a role in here, and have that English teacher relating their topics to that elective class? Science and math doing the same thing. And so I really see us breaking down this big campus of 3,400 students into these small learning communities so that we have that family feel. You are wanted, that you could learn, and that you could take risks. Thank you guys for listening to what we're doing in regards to the next education workforce. I'm always open for questions. Come and see what we're doing. If you have any ideas to make this better, because we could definitely learn from you. Thank you for listening to me.